Okay. Yeah, so we'll see if Cannon shows up. We're missing John for this session, unfortunately.
Did he have a good
then-
excuse? Did he have a doctor's note?
He's somewhere in Chicago.
He's on a cruise or like a lake boat.
Ah, okay.
And then Matt will unfortunately not be here, but that's okay. The show goes on.
Oh, I forgot about Matt.
Whoa.
Okay.
Opposite sides of the spectrum.
Base. Okay.
I thought we had everyone here, and then you just said Matt's here. Like, oh shit, he isn't here. He was here yesterday. That's why I was like,
Yeah,
still here.
That's why you said we almost had everyone here. I'm like, we were never close.
Drats.
Okay.
It's a Thelion.
Hey, okay, there he is. Perfect.
The Seaman.
He might be joining. He probably still can't hear us.
Okay.
Excellent.
The Seaman Dog can hear us now. What's up, Seaman Dog?
Jack, shut up.
Can he? No, he can't.
Yeah,
Ken, your voice sounds much better on whatever mic you're using.
Oh, all right.
The Seaman Dog.
Good to know. Good to know.
I gotta turn you up there. You're quiet.
Yeah, I do have to turn you up.
The quality's good. It's just you're quiet as shit.
Okay. So, this is session 29 of Tragedy of War. Kick it off with a recap. Last time on Tragedy of War. The session began with the faithful few investigating the icy coastline of Bedlam, while Captain Klaus flew in search of shelter for everyone. Khanek, Kev, and Katsu discovered what looked to be the remains of a botched smuggling operation of some kind. There's astral dust, streak stone, and the cold skeleton of the being who had presumably brought these boxes ashore. Meanwhile, Brelikk searched in the opposite direction in the coastline, coming upon a disheveled shrine of Huul, the bystander. At the base of the shrine was a set of scales, tipped to one side, weighed down by the powdered snow, and a sword stabbed into the frozen earth. Despite the state of the blade and the shrine, Brelikk was able to remove the sword and regroup with the party. Thankfully, Captain Klaus returned to the shoreline with news of shelter. He guided the party to a nearby cave in the bluffs, where they would eventually arrive to stay the night. The party did their best to keep warm through the night, some more successfully than others. Katsu was resting on his bedroll of astral dust, receiving deep dreams of the future. He was much older, visiting his home of Forlorn, where he heard a youthful dragonborn humming to himself a familiar song. Katsu awoke from his dream to realize that this song was real, echoing from deeper within the cave. Katsu ventured deeper by himself at first, discovering primordial tracks and cobalt tracks before they trailed off into an underground lake. He could still hear the distant humming of whoever this was, and he could now see a flickering light on the other side of the lake. Katsu felt it best at this point to go back and retrieve the rest of the party before he went deeper. When the party woke up, Katsu led the way back to the lake. Brelikk brandished a rowboat from his robe of useful items, Kev and Captain Klaus took flight to fly over the lake, carrying. And Kev was carrying Consul Corinth, and so all that was left was Aelix on the shoreline, or on the side of this underground lake. The party didn't want to leave Aelix behind, but they also didn't want to expend any. They also didn't want to expend any resources to bring him along.
And then shit hit the fan.
So the party came up with a plan to have Aelix walk across the floor of the underground lake while tied. Rolland came up with the plan to have Aelix walk across the floor of the underground lake while tied to the surface with rope. They had plenty of rope, just in case he sank deeper than they anticipated. And Brelikk wrapped it all around his immovable rod as a final precaution. By all accounts, the plan was airtight. And it should have worked. Unfortunately, this underground lake, however seemingly shallow, was somehow depthless. The rope became taut. Brelikk clicked the immovable rod into place, and Rolland took swift action to save his favorite warforged bartender. He dove into the water mid-transformation into becoming a shark, and he swam down to Aelix, bringing him back to the surface and to the other side of the lake. The session ended with the faithful few, Consul Corinth and Captain Klaus, arriving on the other side of the underground lake, next to the flickering light of the nearby campsite around the corner.
I can't get over it. It's just we don't want to use spell slots.
Oh,
Oh,
you
it's
should,
falling. I
scroll
use my polymorph.
6 days and 21 hours ago, if you look at the chat, what happened?
6 days and 21 hours ago? Yeah.
Wild
It says
search.
6
wild
days,
search, you mean?
21 hours ago.
No, he's talking about the firebolt.
Ah, that one.
Is that real?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
We were
so
hunting for kobolds.
I don't know if that's what was talked about at all, but let's see here. Because you said it as we ended the session, and so people didn't really have a chance to react or anything like that. So to reset the scene, where's this Kingdoms, Bedlam. Yeah. So you guys have crossed this underground lake, and let's swap the music here. Is this one Burning Inside? You guys crossed this underground lake, gathered yourselves, and you made toward this campsite. Katsu, you're very curious, probably, who this person is and why they're here. It's a very strange experience for you. And you all make your way around these stalagmites, probably. Stalagmites.
Mites ground tight ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, they're coming out of the ground, so, like, you know, the flickering's, like, coming through them at first, and you round the bend and you see a kobold, small kobold, sitting, looking into the flames, back to you all, with a little stick and a wiener on the end of it, over the fire, and he's not humming anymore. Khanek raises his hand to firebolt the kobold, almost instantly without regard. So this campsite seems quite barren, except for this kobold, at least upon first glance. So does anyone decide to interfere, or do they let him do it? I honestly don't care. But I want the players to be able
He doesn't. Sorry,
When we pull Aelix up, I ask him what kind of life was down there. Such a large lake must have had a huge ecosystem. Okay, I thought Mike would laugh at
Alex,
that.
I come up with a couple fish.
Wait, didn't you see? Because you're a shark. You surely saw down there, no?
Oh, you're right.
Alex, from your experience, and Roland, from your experience.
Okay,
there's-
I will say though, in a more serious note, Harry, if there's like a source of food down there, if we're gonna be trapped in this cave for a while, I would like to at least identify it.
You did not see any life down there.
Okay.
But as you step out of the water and you're drying off now, Roland, drying off, I mean it's cold. You would probably take the ring of warmth back from Alex, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So you have that back.
I don't give it back.
Hog.
I need it. I'm a robot.
So you have your ring of warmth back, so it helps dry you out. And as it's doing
What's up
so,
with that?
you're moving with the party and you're watching as the water that's on you almost looks like it has a, what's the word?
Get thick and sticky. Or something.
Sticky water.
It is not thick and sticky, but
Oh.
there is
Depends on what we're comparing it to, really. But
there is like dark flecks in it, and you recognize these flecks, Roland, to be similar to, well, actually that was an arc one. You would know it's similar to what you've seen so far in the snow with the guar, except it's kind of like hardened, I guess. And when you were down there, you didn't really think much of it, but now that you're out of it and you're thinking back on it, like there were quite a few of, like, you thought it was maybe just like rocks from the cave or something, debris, but you feel that a large amount of what was in that water could be tainted, or the water itself was tainted with guar and the primordial goo. Assuming that they've swam through these waters, it wouldn't be out of the question for that to be the case.
they're like slightly toxic or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you feel lucky that it did not burn you in
Thank
that
God
sense.
only Alex was down there. Do I see any corrosion or anything on Alex? Like, is he fine?
You see some black specks on him as well that have kind of sat on his chest since some of the water dried, and it doesn't look like it's active, if that makes sense. Like it's not burning
No, it's
his
not
armor.
continuing.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it is on him, and you just like kind of instinctively swipe it off him.
Yeah, I'll be like, obviously I'm out of shark form at this point. But I'll just kind of come up and say like, seems these waters aren't as, have been affected by the primordials. Sorry about this will get you cleaned up. I just kind of brush it off and
after you
look
say
forward.
this, Roland, you
I die.
No. You have a thought that this cave with the lake and its depth, that the guar being in the water actually probably had an effect on this. Like it's slowly eating a hole into the world. And that you've come across just like you don't know how far it goes. Anyway, you have that thought.
All right.
You're wrapping around these stalagmites. The kobold is there.
He does not immediately see us.
Yeah, and Khanek is gonna firebolt him.
Why are you fireball?
We've been hunting kobolds. I've been looking for these fuckers the entire time.
That's
ever
true.
Since the necromancy stuff.
Well, he's just chilling though, right?
I don't know if the group
can
knows.
kill
He's
this.
my-
singing a
You
he's
can
singing
chill
a
on my
song,
fucking
right?
Balls,
I've never heard of the hunt for kobolds. I missed this narrative.
I thought he was just sitting on like a little log,
He is,
singing a
yeah.
song.
He is.
He's got a
Just-
he's got a little
I
weenie
don't
over
think I
a
could
fire.
stop him. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
no,
If
he would just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right. So Khanek, you just
He's done.
immediately firebolt roll with advantage. I'm sure you already did.
Yeah, I did. It was an 18 total.
Yeah. So you hit the light flies through the cave, hits the kobold in the back, and he immediately combusts into, like, you know, it catches fire to his he's wearing this large furry coat that's been keeping him warm. And
Whoa.
you just helped to keep him warm, extra crispy, and he's just, and he's hot, and he runs around, you know, for a bit, around this fire, and he tries to run toward the water, but then he slows as he does, falls to his knees, and then he collapses right before he reaches the cold water that like on another shoreline that, you know,
So he
on
dies.
this little island.
Is
He's
he
dead.
dead?
He's dead, yeah.
Oh my
He's
God.
dead? What the fuck?
God, what the fuck?
We
I don't want to
That's what I'm
revivify him, but Jesus Christ.
don't learn anything.
Guys,
It's
Khanek
soul
is not
cage.
evil. Okay, Khanek is not evil.
The laser beam turns and it looks at you, Khanek. Confused.
Rolland will just say like, "Oh, I'm not particularly fond of kobolds." May I ask what the purpose of that was?
We've been hunting these necromancers
Necromancers.
in this cave. Remember the graves back in Gale. The vision of
Am
the
I able to
kobolds.
approach the body, Harry?
Yeah, as Khanek is saying this to you.
As he's
And-
like talking and says this necromancy stuff, I kind of just start like I'm listening to him, but I just walk away towards the body, and
Yeah.
I just want to like pat him down, pick the pocket, like
The body
is
starts
this dude
levitating.
is this dude like a caster or a necromancer? Like what's on him?
The body starts levitating.
Maybe he's just playing dead and I'm about to get
Perfect,
choked.
Kev.
Who knows?
I got
Yeah, he's just sleeping.
I put my enemy to
So
sleep. They go to
as
sleep real fast.
Khanek is saying this about the kobolds and Gale and necromancy stuff, and you know, while this is true and this seems to hold some
This
weight,
guy's crazy.
at the same time you're on a like a different land mass entirely, in a different kingdom of the world, and you can't help but feel like that this kobold probably wasn't here because he was resurrecting dead bodies in his free time.
Well, yeah, but
This-
if you use
This
the
is the
meta
definition of
information,
just like generalizing a group of people. Like,
Yeah.
You're
wait,
like,
but if
"We're
you use the
good
meta
kobolds."
information that the
Is
DMs
a dead
gave
kobold.
us,
I've had a bad experience with this race. They're all evil. This is how race.
yo, clip that. That's a new short right there.
D&D once again
Clearly
explaining
never played
racism.
Break.
All right,
Kobold.
class, we're going to talk about racism by using D&D as a way
The
to
only
talk
good
about it.
kobold is the kobold that stays in its fucking cave.
goblins.
I say to
Wait,
Khanek,
it didn't leave its cave though, and we killed it anyways.
Yeah, we just kind of wandered into.
Fuck.
I said to Khanek, we
Whoops.
don't gain any information by just killing him.
Whoopsie.
Could have known something. Why these primordials are here? What was that
We
about?
can learn that ourselves.
We could have learned it and killed him. We could have done both.
Remember that other kobold we found in the basement of Gale?
Yes.
I was wary to see what these kobolds can offer, but since then I have learned they only want to raise the dead.
Since he was using the
All
magic
kobolds are
prestidigitation staff
necromancers.
to levitate a body, not bring it back from the dead.
Guys, if you just use the meta information from the last time we encountered kobolds, clearly the DMs were trying to warn us about this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
think this
we-
kobold in a
this is
fur
a-
coat on a log singing a song was a very evil man that we needed to murder right away.
I hope this is the NPC John was supposed to voice, and we just
I think you nailed it on the head.
Um,
I sincerely hope that this that like
Problem solved.
we end up finding out that there's like 1,000 other kobold necromancers in this cave, and this guy, if we didn't kill this guy, it would have like he would have alerted them all. But
He
realistically,
was
it's just
the BB.
it's just
of
a
the cave.
goober kobold who Jack murdered for no reason.
if he's gonna alert someone, I think his screams and cries
Yeah.
of pain would have done that.
I think Jack just fucking
It's
murder hobo.
like when the
kobold.
screams die and the echoes subside, you like listen. It's quiet for a moment, you know, to listen to see if there is anything going bump throughout the rest of the cave, and all you hear is just like the occasional dripping of the cave walls.
Whoa.
And it doesn't sound like there's anyone else nearby. But
Well, we don't hear anything, but we know something's nearby.
and Katsu, in response to your mentioning of the primordials, you're kind of looking around to see oh, well, Rolland first. You walk up to this kobold. He's very charred. You can still make out some features of him, but this is generally him. And he's just burnt, charred. Coat is not white anymore. Just
Wispy.
ashy parts, you know. You see bone coming out of some of the pieces of his face in terms of how far
Oh, like it
this-
was a headshot.
the skin is melted. It was a body shot, but it spread everywhere.
Okay.
And even though he's a kobold with perhaps some natural resistance to this kind of thing, it
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Not
He
to
was
fire.
probably weak to the cold if he's wearing a giant fur coat. You know, he's probably a little worn down, maybe exhausted.
Maybe he was
potentially.
already a little sweaty under
Good
there.
thing we grabbed all our winter gear before you came here.
Yeah. I just bought a new
Parka.
a new coat.
I feel like Alex could rock a poncho, you know?
That would work.
Actually, a really big poncho. That's
It's just
kind
a
of
tarp.
Yeah, it's just a big ass
We
tarp.
need the traditional
No, a
patterns and
tablecloth.
everything.
It's a tablecloth from the tattered belt.
And so
Anyways.
you see this
So, yeah, I
Roland,
see-
and
I
you're
see-
patting him down, and like every time you pat him, like a little bit of, you know, crispy like piece of clothing comes off.
Nice.
Let me think about this. You,
Die.
yeah, no.
And
And die.
You pat him down, and you don't see anything. But make me an insight check as you stand up and you kind of look down at this body and you think about kobold in a cave with primordials.
I like
What the fuck's
art.
happening here?
This artist from Icewind Dale, Harry.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah, the top.
I know
only
the
took
quest too.
You took the top one.
I hate
I've ran this quest before.
That's so
I
funny.
hate it.
We never got around to that quest.
It's
Jack,
the
it's-
full art is actually.
We're home, Jack. We're home.
The full
Yeah,
art
we're-
is actually 3 kobolds in a trench coat, but this is just the top half of him, or the top third.
I'll take an 18, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, you're kind
Check,
of disappointed that you don't see anything on his person.
No necromancy.
No. It doesn't seem like it. And
I see.
But yeah, you're thinking about the situation more and more, and you're like, from what Brelikk told you about these primordials in the past, and from the situation of how Captain Klaus, he was technically the only one who was taken, is how they said it. Like, 2 primordials came and then captured Klaus and then ran away, and then Consul Corinth went after them.
hmm
Yeah. Okay.
You think that maybe this was the second, you know, like Captain Klaus was supposed to be the second one, the second captive taken to
Yeah.
their lair, and Consul Corinth interrupted it accidentally by showing up and being the third wheel. And as to why they seem to abduct in twos in this fashion, or you know, to try and keep two captives, you're not exactly sure. But while you're having this thought, Katsu, you're, you know, upset that you didn't get the information about the primordials that you were hoping for, and perhaps why this kobold was here and all these other things. You turn to the way this campsite is set up is there's like a really big back wall. It's like a really big wall of ice. And it just looks like a kind of a discolored wall of ice. And what you thought were initially more stalagmites, like, you look at them again and they're more frozen than perhaps some of the other ones you've seen, and they actually hold some kind of a shape to them. Like, they are jutting out directly from this back wall, but they don't look like stalagmites. They look like shapes, unnatural shapes.
Okay, can I go and examine them closer?
Yeah, you can. And without a check, you would begin to make out some of the features of these two stalagmites. Let's see here. Skip past that dialogue. These formations are kind of protruding from the back wall, and as you approach to look at them more, you notice that they resemble what would be considered to be more statues, or, since they're made out of ice, sculptures, I guess. And at the base of these statues, you see pools of guar.
Oh.
As if whatever carved these statues, as if the primordials were the things that carved these statues.
And they did it with guar, or it was just since they were there? It was kind of a byproduct of them being there.
Yeah.
Okay.
With guar, it would look like they rubbed it against to like make, you know, the
To
shapes,
melt and shape it.
and then it kind of pooled at the base, and you can see like many tracks that surround this specific spot of this large back wall, and there are two of them. Let's clean up this
Two
one here.
statues?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is our elevation lower than when we were traveling down the river?
I didn't imagine. Maybe somewhat. But you see the left statue, and it's got these broader shoulders with this ridged collarbone, these icy ridges, shooting up to create a strange collar. It's got these very shallow sockets for its eyes, and there's this very elaborate crown with crescent horns on flanking either side of it. The face of the statue does not look human. It seems inhuman. But in the shallow divots of its eyes, its expression manages to convey concern. And the right statue has a thinner frame and an angular jaw, pointed more so than the other. It's got these deep ridges that overtake its eyes, and it also has a crown, though it's different than the other. One of these icy blades in like an ornate fashion. The face of this statue is also inhuman, but through its expression, you can feel the malevolence.
Are these statues full body statues, or are they busts, kind of like the images shown?
Here you can.
They're like icy stalagmites that become humanoid as as it reaches the top. So it's like there's no legs to these.
Okay, so it's more like a bust.
Yeah.
And okay, so these are actual statues, not evil beings frozen and are about to fuck us. Okay.
As
Not that we know.
you see that, and yeah, they do not look living.
I quickly copy this into my notebook, their appearance.
Yep.
Here, can I pop a divine sense really quick?
Yes. Good
Yeah,
call.
I call everyone over, anyone who hasn't seen them.
Yeah.
And these are both behind like a big, thick wall of ice.
They're coming out of one.
Oh.
It's like the back wall of this campsite is just a massive ice wall, and they're protruding out of the bottom of it, like outward toward the campsite.
So what do these things look like overall? Like, okay, that sounds stupid because like you see that, but like, what are these things in terms
Like
of like
stone.
what we would they look like extra dimensional, like extra worldly, or
Do they remind us of the primordials we've seen?
Yeah, because these almost look extra worldly, like something we've never seen before.
Make religion check for what they look like. And okay.
I see the
And
future.
In terms of
These things all-
what were you saying exactly? What did you ask again, Parker?
What did I ask, or what did Jack ask?
Yeah. What was the part?
Oh,
you
I
asked?
asked if they resemble the
resemble the
primordials, even
primordials.
vaguely. They all
You
appear different, but
the thing that is like the call sign, the telltale sign of the primordials is their color, and with this ice, it feels difficult to gauge, but
okay.
They
They all also have much different like facial features from the ones we've seen. No
Yeah.
two have been very alike.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you feel as though they are somehow connected, definitely. Given the scene that you've stumbled upon. Khanek, the shapes in this ice,
They look so alien to me. What are these?
Yeah. From what you understand about the different monsters or beings of the world, these look to be celestials of some kind, though there's something wrong with them. Like, it's like they're adjacent to celestials or something. And, it's kind of unnerving. Like, even the one on the left, which appears to be more docile in its expression.
Which one's the one on the left? Is it the mono eye one looking with the thing, or is it the?
It is
Thick or thin
the
neck?
thick neck is on the left, thin neck is on the right.
Okay. Upon this realization, I kind of like stumble back a bit, and then I throw up a bit.
Are you okay?
Ooh.
Throws up.
Am I okay?
Jesus.
Like physically?
Khanek, these shapes do not belong to any denomination that you know, in terms of, things throughout Rapture, the different faiths and religions throughout Rapture. There is nothing from the existing pantheon that would.
And I thought these kobolds were just necromancers, but they're worshipping something extra-dimensional.
I'm not sure that was the kobold intention.
Not.
Well, we can't know because it's dead.
Harry, I don't know if you said it already.
Yes.
But did my divine sense proc anything?
Yes, so. And powerful good rings like heavenly music. So. You look to the left statue, and. Well, okay, yeah, you divine sense, and.
Yeah.
It's
my
almost
eyes
like
will kinda...
the whole room, like, is divided between these two statues.
Okay.
And it's like one side of the cave is this horrid red hue, and the other side is a dull yellowish white glow, and you feel a strong sense of good and a strong sense of evil separated between these lines, and you're standing like it cuts right through you, like you're standing right in between them.
Yeah. I would say, like, Roland's, like, looking around through all this, and he would kind of just mutter to himself something along the lines of, like, the gods see the world so differently than us. And you see he's, like, looking back and forth between the two halves of the room and says, like, I'm not sure, but this site, it's more than just these statues or some reverence. This is truly a holy site of some kind. Not just projecting a single god, but these two forces that these statues represent. The energy, it's present here.
And Rolland,
There's nothing holy about this.
I did not say it was just only that divine power existed here.
They must be destroyed.
Khanek, you're having like these vivid, like it's almost like this is triggered, some kind of divination within you, but you feel like it's uncontrollable to some extent, and you're not seeing anything in the future, but you feel as though there's this deep sense of like foreboding as you stand before these two figures. And with your nat 20 on religion, and your mentioning of the old gods from the previous, not previous session, but 2 sessions ago, you made a quip about demons and the old gods and etc. And you feel as though that statement was actually, like, you didn't realize it before, but there are perhaps gods older than what you had already considered the old gods. This doesn't belong to anything in the existing pantheon, but your mind begins to draw connections between the number 2 and all of the things that have patterned in this way to this point. 2 statues, 2 rings, 2 planets, 2 beings, perhaps gods. Salus and Luez. But why are the primordials revering them? And Katsu, you step back to get a better look at these figures. And at first, you know, like I said, you thought that maybe there was just some discoloration in the ice on the wall that these, you know, statues are protruding from. But you now see that there's something beyond the surface of the ice.
Oh.
This discoloration that you saw before is actually a shape. Something frozen behind the wall of ice. Like one of those, like a, what are those called? Like a Rorschach painting, you know?
Mhm.
Like you're stepping
You see
back,
the silhouette.
and
All right, what do we see beyond the ice,
your
Harry?
eyes
What do we
begin
see?
your eyes begin to recognize like a form. Like it becomes clear that there is a figure behind the
Okay.
ice, and it's completely frozen. Just to be clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I need to. Let's just get. Hang on. Do I not have rejects? Delete. I've been meaning to delete that song from the playlist for a while now. There we go.
Mm-hmm. The one that just played, or
the one that was just playing.
You were going. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought it was a Utah moment. Okay. Can I make out the shape any further?
Yeah.
Discern any other details?
I
also point out to everyone else, there's something else in here. I don't think this is just art gallery.
Your eyes
Don't
trace
belong here.
trace along the edges of this shape in the
Khanek
ice.
is now crouched down, like a child would be. They don't belong
you see, as Katsu steps back, you all see this
what
figure
The fuck? Mother.
completely
Ooh.
frozen in the ice.
This shit creepy.
Fucking eldritch primordials.
Benefactors, beyond my prison.
I look around, seeing if anyone else will answer.
I will step back as far as I can toward where we came from.
Roland will just respond, like, kind of squinting, like, almost like quizzically at this dude, and just be like, "We were told we were we were told we were the faithful few." I'm not sure about faithful, but
There are few.
Are the faithful, chosen of your mortal pantheon, destined to remain together to end the everlasting conflict. Approach me.
tell me first.
I approach.
I approach. I kind of puff up my chest and approach.
Kev
But
says,
That's so
guys,
funny.
I don't think we should do this. And I step back further.
It's like Popeye.
I step back with Cal.
Spinach.
Hey, looks like the fuck
You're
out
saying
of here.
it's this
Get the fuck
this
out of here,
picture of,
I
like,
feel like
the
we're
blue
Shaggy and Scooby Doo at this point.
thing,
Like,
right?
Let's get out of here,
Two
Scoob.
orange coins.
get out of here,
Like,
Scooby.
Scoob.
It's this last picture you posted, right? Of the kind of the tentacly like thing, right? That's what's
The
talking to us.
disgusting primordial
Yes.
creature.
But it's like an image of it, or
God, this is like the one in Canon.
It's a-
Remember Cannon's in the ice caves when he had that primordial thing trapped under the ice? It's like that shit
Yeah.
all over again.
you guys almost like if you had fucked with it. I remember you guys were like, "Fuck, nope, nope, nope," and you
Guys,
walked away
fuck
from
about
it.
We're
Mhm.
fucking
you
with
guys
this
might-
one though. I walked up along with Parker.
Yeah. So
What are you?
Roland seems interested in this response.
Your time has passed. Why are you here?
We are the product of all that you despise. We are your patrons.
Patron. What do you mean by that?
the wall says nothing.
You're our patrons, but we've never met you before. Nor do we have anything I can think of that would resemble your grotesque form.
Matt's calling him ugly. um.
We have not met, though we have met many like you. They come, they go. and the curse hops to another.
I look to Brelikk. Like, that kind of sounds right.
Yeah, I'm like, isn't this what happened to the last group that Brelikk was with?
Yeah, this
Is what I'm
checks out.
thinking.
That's what it sounds like. Absolutely. He's saying that he's perhaps met other faithful in the past.
That in all senses of the word, the fateful few is misleading. How many have come before us? We've heard of Brelikk and his past party, but he made it to us.
Indeed. Most unusual.
This bastard.
I am surprised to see him here. But
Do you seek the destruction of the faithful few?
no,
He's a good guy.
though my other half does.
Lewis. Or is it Zealous?
Celestial beings of a lost age, corrupted by their hatred. Their battle, their conflict, caused what you call the Cataclysm.
So it wasn't arrogance.
No. And we are not they. We are their blood, which remains from their battle.
He's saying who caused the cataclysm? Us as like humanoids or the primordials?
So he's saying the two
Figures.
yeah, Salus and Lues, the celestial beings, caused the cataclysm, and that they are the blood that remains from the battle.
Gotcha. So they died in the battle, or they simply bled enough to.
I don't know how demons and celestial work, but something happened to them.
Yeah, you don't know
It
what
is
happened
odd
to
that
them.
you and while you are produced from the blood of different gods, you look so similar.
Mm-hmm. Oh snap!
Produced for the blood of different gods. He's saying that he, essentially that the primordials are the blood of Salus and Lues in the battle that they shed. But yeah, it is.
I guess I was assuming that he was like, one is the blood of Lues, one is the blood of Sal.
Oh no, just
No, not
all.
necessarily.
He's saying all primordials essentially.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Okay.
But what would he say to that?
And what is it that you want? Why are you here?
Just to suffer.
Our nature is to be drawn to one another, to spread, to amass, to grow in mind and body through conflict. And so I sealed myself away to denounce our nature and to deny my other half.
How heroic.
It is still out there. It is searching for me.
Why do you hide? What prevents you from fulfilling your wish of defeating this other half?
My prison.
His self-inflicted prison.
Mm.
It would seem that way.
If you do not want the destruction of the faithful few, then what is it that you do want? Do you even care about our existence at all? Or are we merely inconsequential to you?
You are perhaps the most consequential aspect of my existence. I believe what my other half does not. I believe there is hope for your world, for humanity. You are not born to divide, as my other half believes. In a world which tears itself apart, there are those who will pull it together. You.
Mm.
I wish.
Hang on before I say that. I want to say that there's like there's this long silence after he speaks this last word, and that he basically believes in the cause which you all pursue. However,
Do I believe him?
make an insight check.
I'm really good at these.
Nice, man, nice.
Once again, Mike, killing it.
They call him
Um,
Mike the Insightful.
They do.
Talk to my ring. This guy seems pretty fishy.
This is a load of barnacles.
This is a load of barnacles.
So it seems like he's contradicting himself. That's what you notice. There's something kind of schizo about this guy. In that he imprisoned himself to deny his nature and basically stop. Basically, what it sounds like he's saying is that what primordials do is they combine with each other. They are drawn to each other, and then they combine into a bigger primordial. And that they grow in mind and body as they do so. Which seemingly, with this one speaking relatively coherently, is a testament to that growth. And I guess he reached the point where he realized that, you know, perhaps it's this cycle that he and his primordial brethren are in is kind of, I think he seems to believe it to be pointless to some extent.
Even if it's against his wishes.
Yeah, against his nature.
Yeah, he's holding himself back.
Yeah, but
I wish to be set free.
To what end? See, I don't fuck like that. See, this is the disconnect.
Knowledge, power, fortune, perhaps. All could be yours. If you let me out.
Well, it's very reasonable, guys. Let's let him out.
My other half
Not wanting to let things out.
is calling me.
How thick is the old ice wall?
it's very, and you imagine it would take some serious heat to melt the ice. Should you choose to do that? Anyway, so to
Let
continue
Roll
off
take his
that,
shirt off.
to continue off that, he's definitely seeming like he's contradicting himself in that in this moment, with this final sentence or this final request, is that it's almost like it's his nature talking. You know, there's him talking, and then there's his nature, and he doesn't like preface which one is
His
speaking.
urges.
He just speaks.
His like intuition, his desires want to be less like
Yeah.
let out, but his like intelligence tells him it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or his intuition is like he should not be doing. I turn to everyone. Well, what do we think?
Did he say why he? Nice ass, Harry. Did he say why?
He locked himself in here to prevent
Why he
fighting.
locked himself in?
'Cause he was like,
To overcome his nature.
To break the cycle.
To primordials, they are drawn to each other, they fight, and then they merge. And
That's life.
and so that's why out of character in Cistern and Destiny and now Bedlam, these primordials have always been in pairs of two. They weren't fighting each other, but basically what this guy is saying is that they come together, and eventually they do. It's just that, you know, you've
I
only
see.
run into them before that happens. Before the merging, I guess. And so he's saying that there is another one of him out there, too. When he refers to his other half, he's not referring to Salus or Luez. He's referring to another primordial, just like him, that...
If they could, they would.
Yeah, like if the other one found him, it would merge with him, or it would try to. You don't know where this other half is, but it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we keep this guy locked up. I'll be honest, guys. I think it's a safe assumption. I think we just go, hey,
You lose
man,
nothing
sorry.
by keeping him in the cage.
It's like, hey, man, I'd love to, but I'm really busy. I'm like, you know, I got things to do, you know.
Of course. I understand. I wouldn't want to impose.
Well, I really hope you merge, like, because that's cool for you and all, but right now I'm running a little low on time. I'm a little tired too, a little exhausted. It is. I'm kind of cold too. Like maybe once we get coffee or something. And,
Alex is like
warm
miming all
up.
of these things, not actually saying anything.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Yeah,
explaining it to the
Realistically, Alex is just sitting back by Kev, and he just has this. He's got both of his thumbs, but they're like this, but like that. Like
Right,
his
yeah.
thumbs are just rotated downward, and he is
That's
just
funny.
going. When Tatsu looks back to like gauge the
That's
vibes,
how
and
Alex
Mike is
would
shitting
answer.
himself talking into his ring.
What do you do?
I say to everyone, it's like, what he offers is enticing. Can't imagine we can trust him.
Katsu, after you say this, you feel as though there have maybe been a different group of people might have accepted this offer.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
The last group?
I don't know.
Oh, then what's the worst that could have
I
happened?
don't know.
Shit, I accept.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just kind of signed my name.
Is there more to the cave, or is this kind of like a dead end now?
It's like a dead end. Like you're on like an icy island in the middle of this thing, and against the back wall, and yeah, you do see some chests frozen, kind of like part of the wall, off to the side of this large ice wall. It's like off in the dark corner. You're not sure why they're there, but
How close are they to the big guy?
they're just off the side of the wall, so basically like off the Rorschach painting.
I don't approach.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's our cue to leave, guys.
I
Time to
say,
scram, kiddos.
well, I think our business is done here, but and I turn to him and I'll say, it's like, would you tell us if any other primordials came through? What else has happened?
What else has happened? Other primordials that came through. No,
If you wish for me to answer this question, you must let me out.
Well, I don't think we're gonna get anything out of him, so let's just leave.
I agree.
Leave if you like.
Yep.
I will remain.
Yep.
That's the plan.
That's kind of cool.
And so you all would, unless you, is there anything else that perhaps?
Does anyone want to check out
How
those
do we
chests?
destroy all your brethren?
How do we destroy your brethren?
Sand.
I don't think he's gonna answer any of your questions.
How are we going to destroy? Well,
Oh.
He's got some anger issues.
Maybe a bit.
Oof.
I'm back.
Welcome.
He's angry, Cannon. He's yelling at us.
Why? We didn't want to let him out?
No, we let him out.
Yeah, no,
We did let him out.
no, we did not.
Oh.
Yeah, he's currently accordioning you.
He's
accordioning
angry.
you against the wall.
According you.
He's currently absorbing you right now. The Eldritch
Yeah.
Beast.
Amassing currently.
He's amassing. Guys, I'm amassing.
So it's kind of I like to imagine the visual as the party, all but Khanek, dispersed, and then Khanek remained for a moment, and the others kind of like looked back at him to make sure he's like coming, and Khanek asks this question, and he speaks in response to, how do we defeat your brethren? He wants you to prove them wrong, which, from your understanding of this schizophrenic primordial, is that...
To not have conflict.
Right.
Oh shit, we just have to end war.
Well, shit, we just have to never have war.
Right.
I hate war.
Oh.
War.
That is
I'm fine with that.
that is
What
my
an
least
awful
favorite
thing.
thing to do.
What is it good for?
I mean, what's it good for?
Shut
Absolutely nothing. Ooh. Ooh. Did you see Agent Cody Banks?
No.
Shut the
No.
fuck
And the party pulls Khanek out as the primordial is yelling. And they go back to the rowboat with Brelikk. And everyone kind of begins to go back. You have the issue of Alex again.
Can I come with the
Oh.
boat this time, guys? I promise.
Just
I promise I
polymorph.
won't sink us.
I'm gonna polymorph him into a cricket. Let's not deal with this.
Yeah. Make me small. Actually, don't polymorph me. I was afraid of the dog.
I was afraid of the dog.
Bring him in the ring. Anything,
Oh,
please.
Again.
Do we have another polymorph?
All right,
Wait,
Seaman dog.
You don't even have to
fuck you.
polymorph, but you could just give me the ring again and then drag me along the boat like I'm body surfing with with
You
the
are
bats
way too
movable
heavy
rod.
for that.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Please cringe.
This is what happens when we keep bringing water.
you?
Do we have another polymorph?
Do we?
I have one more polymorph.
I think we should just polymorph, make it easy. I don't want to spend 30 minutes on this again.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I think Mike should use creation to make a bigger boat.
That's... What size can he make? Large? Huge? Can't make
Let
a
me
boat?
in your ring, Mike.
No.
Put me in the ring.
These fucking nuts.
I can turn into a whale, and then everyone can ride on top of my back.
See
Oh,
that.
okay, that's just overcomplicated again.
That is poly.
But doesn't your brain turn you into like the brain of a whale?
No, I maintain my mental stats, I think.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No,
No,
you
polymorph.
don't. Not with polymorph.
Oh, polymorph,
Yeah.
yeah.
We went over this with John polymorphed into a rat, and you get the mental stats of what you turn into.
What?
Okay, all right. So I mean, because here's the thing: it's like,
Because otherwise
is
you'd
it-
just be a druid.
Oh, we did
is
go
it
over
just
this.
is it
with JoJo.
just for the sake of like if I need to make a check, or like Harry, like are you gonna say like, damn, you're a whale, now make a check to see if you remember to swim to the other side
Well,
of the
John
lake?
said, "Damn, I'm a rat," and then bit himself. So anything's possible at this point.
Yeah,
That's
no,
true.
I mean, John.
Well, he did roll a nat 20 on intelligence. So.
Well, he shouldn't have been able to roll in the first place.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like the polymorph spell, as I remember it. Let me look it up.
Just turn you a fucking cricket and we'll get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you could just
That's
make him something small.
I mean, I could just I could just turn him into a
Your
shark.
game statistics, including your mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast.
Right, but it doesn't answer the
It
question.
remains with your alignment and personality.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it retains your alignment and personality. I imagine you would remember why you transformed into
Yeah,
a
you
whale.
you wouldn't be a complete idiot. Like you would still be able to do things. It's just your
But-
your overall.
Yeah, I
process
can be
of
whatever I
being
want.
insane.
A whale for inside a cave.
That
might
seems
be-
so odd.
Yeah.
That the polymorph spell does not seem like it.
It's not.
Should
It doesn't
work.
specify on purpose. They're leaving it to DM discretion.
Yeah, I know. It feels like if you turn into a creature, unless you have like the knowledge of turning into creatures like a druid would, I feel like you're.
You're saying that I should, if I turn into a gorilla right now, I should just do what the average gorilla would do in my situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No,
That's how I
I'm
feel
still
like.
me.
No, I know, but it's obviously it's still you. But if you turn someone into a gorilla, you know, they're obvious. Like, it feels like they shouldn't be like, oh shit. Like,
we ruled Gorelick as like it was basically just Brelikk but a gorilla. So
I mean, he
oh,
knew
no, I'm not
this
talking about
spread.
for the. I'm not talking about for the specific game. I'm talking about like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
world of
Yeah,
D&D.
yeah, no, I
like,
know.
Rules
it just
as
seems
written.
fucking odd that it's like.
so no, I would not have you make an intelligence roll to remember or anything like that. But
You can
yeah.
just turn me into a squirrel and
you
carry
just
me.
turn him
across.
into something
Yeah.
small, is what
Turn him
I'm
into
saying, and then put him in the boat or something. Like it's not a.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
turned
yeah.
into
Am
a rat.
I? Yeah.
I totally didn't understand. I thought you meant like a because I said a whale, so I thought you were saying something smaller than a whale. I was like, okay, a shark.
I'll put a shark in my pocket.
I'll put a shark in my pocket.
Is there a shark in
I
your
got
pocket? Or
fucking
are you
got a
So,
fucking
so
shark.
you
I got
turn him
fucking
into
full
something
of
small.
shark.
What would you like to
Rat,
turn him
rat.
into? Rat. All
It's
right.
a rat.
And you want to like kind of pick him up. And we'll put him on your
All
chest
right,
or
Will.
something.
Now bite yourself.
Yeah.
I'll do it with
Yeah,
the
break
other
yourself
side.
out of polymorph. That's what all rats would do in this situation.
right?
Yeah.
We've ruled this.
No. But yeah, he sits atop my shoulder.
Okay.
Perhaps the ring of warming, as it warms me, has a slight effect
Put me in
on
your
the small
hands.
rat.
I could be warm.
I don't want to touch you. You're a dirty rat.
Turn him
You could have made me into something else. You made me into a rat.
You made me
Cool.
this way. God, why?
God.
Damn.
Why do you
Guess you
reject
know how
me?
it feels to be.
Just cruel.
I regret nothing.
The treatment
Um,
of this robot has been brutal.
Alex is
Damn.
learning why
Where am I
humans-
right?
Have you learned to
Negotiators
hate
going
ice caves yet,
recruit
Will? That should be your real takeaway.
The
Have you learned to
I-
hate humans yet? You could be useful to negotiator.
That's true.
So yeah, you. Those in the boat begin paddling out, including at Kev. You would.
Fly back carrying.
Consequence.
Yeah.
And Captain Klaus flies
What the
beside you
fuck?
all.
You're
I
still
don't want
alive.
to let everyone in the
Yeah.
room.
And you all arrive at the other side of the lake after 10-15 minutes, and Captain Klaus flutters down to the ground, says, "Well, y'all seem like you have your work cut out for you."
Have you been here the whole time?
Of course. I didn't quite know. I suppose the reputation that you all held was so well known.
Apparently only to beasts.
Well, that's not true. Cat's Meow was talking you up a storm back in Gale.
I hate that.
I'm sure
He
the whole
doesn't seem
world
like
knows by
it's,
now, but
Hmm,
I didn't
boy.
expect one of those to...
but why didn't they know about the past groups?
I'm not sure. Perhaps this is the first time they didn't all die.
Yet.
Perhaps Brelikk in his own way broke a sort of cycle. I don't know. It is beyond me, by all accounts.
Brelik's
With
group still
pleasure.
interacted with the church and governments by what he said. We're the only people of influence we've interacted with are... What's the bird man's name?
Akko.
Oh, Lord Akko.
Lord Akko.
It's Ak, but with an O.
Perhaps
Literally
Lord
Ak
Akko
with
is
an
not as
O.
neutral as he would like us to think.
I want you to know, Parker, that I named him before you named
I want
your
you to know,
character.
I didn't do that on purpose. I want you to know that.
No,
No,
I
Harry-
named him Akko because
Uh-huh.
I was like, that kind of sounds like a bird, and then
Uh-huh.
and then Parker's like, I'm gonna name my character Ak, and I'm like, that's
I
weird.
No, Harry just likes to steal my names. Like
Yeah.
when I did
The
what
next
was the
character we're gonna
blacksmith?
meet is Katso.
Katsu?
Orum, yeah, you're right.
Or
Oramo.
Orum.
pretty crazy.
It's crazy how how everyone knows of like the group. It's like here is this group of people, but they don't know that the cast of characters rotates from fucking group to group.
Yeah. As
So
far
yeah,
as they're
something
aware, no faithful few has existed up until now. Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
So you all continue and back through
All
to
right.
the mouth
How
of
the
the
hell are
cave.
we getting to fucking Safeguard?
Well, I think the first step would be to head on back to the ship.
The ship is a wreck. Think we can still use that thing?
Well, we can at least check it out.
It's not the ship that we need to worry about.
It's that fucking attitude.
It's the pilot.
Oh.
I thought you were the pilot.
I am.
Booze.
That's why it's good that you came and found me.
He gets stabbed.
I'm
so he
sure
can crash
that...
again.
yeah, he
Fuck
just
this
dies.
guy.
I'm sure that by now, the ship is fine and well. Can't say the same for the passengers. But if my crew is trained well, which they certainly are, Arakaka Airlines does not skimp out on its employee training, then
Didn't you
Good to
just
hear.
start working for them?
indeed
Also, he
I did.
just crashed. He just
Wow,
crashed.
that too.
Fuck.
I used to be a pilot for them back in the day.
Until you took in something to the something. I
No.
don't say that part. It's just a meme.
Can we just get the hell to Safeguard?
Certainly. Suppose we should follow the trail back. Is everybody ready to brave the cold?
Ah, yes, please.
Make sure you're bundled up. Bundle up.
I puff some fire into my hand.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Ah-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Consul
Ma- ma-
Corinth,
ma- ma-
Consul
ma-
Corinth
ma- ma-
puts on a scarf. And Captain Klaus pulls his goggles down from his head and puts them over his eyes. Full speed ahead! And he flaps out into the cold. He starts walking, you notice, as he, enters out into the windy world. You imagine flying for him would not be a good idea individually.
Yeah.
Nor for any Arakakra. You're all trudging back the way you came, following the path that you took before. The Gwar is no longer there. But you remember the path through the bluffs, more or less. It wasn't, like, you were basically just following the coast, for the most part. You can see on the main world map that I've drawn a line for kind of your progression up to this point. Basically right here is where the ship kind of, went kaput. So you head on back that way, back through these bluffs. Let's see here. Oops.
Oh.
That's not correct. Let's go back to this. And then let's pull this up. Oh, I see. Preload. It was this one. Here we go. And it's daytime.
Ayo.
Light! Light? Light? There we go. Get Brelikk off the screen.
Fuck that guy.
Get the
And activate.
Well,
With
he's not even
pleasure.
here. Fuck that guy.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm
I
gonna
hate
say
players who aren't here.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah, fuck those guys.
So you're trudging. You feel the cold. You're breathing heavily. It's a real workout to get through the powder. while the wind is kind of blowing through, cutting through those of you who do not have the warm clothing, cutting through your clothing and sending chills down your spine, though you press forward as you know that the journey is not too long back. It took you about 3 hours, the first journey.
The trek was the easy part.
Yes. But to speed through it, basically, you get back to the, what do you call it?
The airship?
No. You get back to the middle point of the
If it
journey,
only were so easy.
where you step into the bubble of
The statues. Yeah.
the 3 standing stones in the center of the bluffs. And as Captain Klaus enters this this area, he kind of flings his wings out, like flicking off all the snow, and like pulls his goggles off his head. Think we ought to rest here for a while, just to get our bearings, and then continue onward.
Very well.
And Consul Corinth, we'll say Kevin Khanek are next to him. As he steps in and he kind of swipes his hair, and all of the snow kind of flies off. And he dusts off his robes, and he looks up around as if for the first time in a while, like he hasn't been digging his chin into his chest, moving forward. He's like, letting the wind come through, and as it's now much calmer conditions. I did not pass through here before. Where have you taken me? And he
This
looks.
is a safe resting spot. Something that prevents you from, I suppose, the effects of the weather.
Effects of the weather. And then he looks up, as if prompted by what you told him, and he sees like the glowing runes on these standing stones. Aptly put. These are
I'm
weather
surprised
stones.
You know them?
Yes, though I did not expect to see any out this way, especially in Bedlam.
Where are they normally found?
Well, they're used on some of the more coastal parts of Rapture. Out in Cistern and Haven, at the very least. Haven't seen any in Safeguard, but they're to help keep the elements at bay and turn the tide of... in the kingdoms where there is battle, turn the tide of the battle to whoever favors control of it, I suppose. It looks as though these are tuned to the blizzard setting, of course.
Turn the little knob, the volcano, see what happens.
They react to the elements. Our journey forward would be much... what do you want to call it? Much calmer if we were to somehow tweak. If anyone possesses any kind of elemental magic, we should be able to tune it to our liking.
looks around.
Kind of elemental magic.
Anything out of character, elemental damaging spells like
Oh, okay. I thought he meant like a
ice.
specialist, and I was like, eh.
Ice, fire, things like that. Right now, there's three pillars. So how this works is the left and the right pillar inform the center pillar. The center pillar is what actually controls the weather. The left and the right just send the correct transmission. So if you are to target either the left or the right, then the center one should react to your tuning, your tuning, I suppose.
Well, it's tuned to what we need right now. I don't see a need to change it. Unless we could somehow take these with us, but this is quite large.
Are these causing the blizzard? Is that what he's saying?
Oh,
No.
yes, I'm sorry. These stones go beyond, I think, what their scope goes far beyond where we stand. We are in the eye of the hurricane, as it were. It is the source of all that surrounds us at the moment. If we are to step out, we are back in the blizzard, which is being brought upon by these stones.
Oh.
God, I'm so smart.
And so what would happen if
Mike!
I'm like, Mike's not fucking
if we
listening.
used
And then
fire on these, it would cause what? A storm of fire?
I don't know. It's nothing.
maybe try.
It's
I don't think
nothing
that's a good idea.
unnatural. It does not perform a weather condition that would not exist outside of the typical pattern.
All right, I firebolt them.
Both of them?
The
Wait,
the
are
middle
they-
one, right? Because
Are
that's
they
the control one.
consumed when
Or what consumed?
the stones?
No, they just stay there. Yeah. He's saying basically the left and the right pillar react to the elements, and then so the center one is basically like you don't need to worry about it. There's different combinations of different elements that yield different weather results. So if you want to do fire, you can.
I'll do fire.
Okay.
Oh.
So you firebolt the two pillars, the left and the right, and immediately, you start to notice the snow outside the surrounding bubble that you're in, fall and then stay there, and that there's no more snowfall outside of it. And you can see snow even begin to melt in just all around the bubble. I guess that's the best description. Just the snow is kind of melting, and you see water kind of like accumulating on the surface of the snow, and it seems like it's going really fast. And as you're standing there, you actually feel the heat from this pillar like emanating through the bubble, and you're like, it feels really good at first, and you start to get like really sweaty.
Perhaps 2 firebolts was too much.
Kind of like you're cooking a little bit.
Oh.
I use a chill touch on one of them.
So that's necrotic.
Yeah.
Oh,
We all die.
I use chill touch on one of them.
yeah, you all turned on.
I'm
that.
curious.
It's cold, damn it.
There's no such thing as necrotic weather, guys. Come on, don't be
Well,
ridiculous. Now.
It doesn't
In
do
this world
anything.
There is. I have lightning.
You want to try that?
But
You want lightning and fire together? Sounds spicy.
oh, but that is witch bolt actual thunder damage? Lightning damage? Oh, it is.
I think it's lightning.
Yeah, I'll throw a witch bolt at it. Ciao.
Ciao, Lightning McQueen, baby.
So yeah, the runes, since they were firebolted on the pillars, turn like a red, and then you see like beams shooting from the left and the right pillar into the center pillar, and the center pillar becomes red as well, and it kind of has like a red beam that's going up into the sky and causing this heat wave, is what you would describe it. Is how it would feel to you. So then Kev is like, nope, and he zaps one of the pillars, and you see the runes turn a white color, and a white beam connects into the red one, and they blend, and then it kind of creates something that looks a little bit more tame, and the environment cools down, and the snow stops melting, and the weather inside of the bubble seems no different from the weather outside the bubble, and
We've just saved the world,
the skies
guys.
look very clear. There's no snow falling at all.
What would happen if I put guar on one of these stones?
Yeah.
In a
Guar
video
ring.
game, in a video game.
In a video game. In Minecraft.
You're not sure. Captain Klaus says, "That looks like it did it.
Thanks.
By all accounts, that feels much better on my feathers." Let's see.
Lovely.
We shouldn't have any trouble getting back at this at this rate. Should be much easier. And we won't be fighting the wind, as it were. He keeps his goggles off his eyes, and he steps out of the bubble, following the path back to the ship. And you all accompany him.
Postman.
Corinth is, gives Khanek and Kev, nod of approval. And he then reiterates it. "It's very strange to see these stones out here. Very strange indeed." And kind of trails off into the snow. And with the new weather, you are not feeling exhausted. And you kind of, were short resting, light activity during that time in the bubble. So you feel pretty good. It's cold. Your cheeks are rosy red, but it's nothing, it's nowhere near as bad without the wind. And you get back eventually to the crash site. What was the crash site of this airship? You arrive, and you see that the ship is set upright. Before, it was kind of collapsed into the side of a snowbank, right? And
Fuck, this ship works.
it had no mast, and it was like a complete wreck.
That's crazy, man.
Before you left, you remember seeing a lot of the flight crew getting up outside and accumulating the debris and the remaining pieces of the shipwreck, and kind of seemingly beginning repairs, but you didn't stick around to see. So now the ship, instead of being collapsed into the snowbank, it's kind of set upright, so it's straight. It still doesn't, the mast has been reattached, and you see that most of the holes in the hull have been patched from the crash, and also the guar that had seeped through the helm of the ship, and just like created like tons of holes. Where those holes were is now like new wood. There's like a sheen across the wood. You recognize it as like a mending, the result of what would be the mending cantrip. And Yeah, out on the permafrost, the only thing that's missing really on the ship at this point is the balloon that was, keeping y'all afloat. And you see on the permafrost next to the ship, the balloon is kind of laid out, and various members of the flight crew are doing their best to patch up the hole, this massive hole in the balloon, which you hadn't really seen till now. You imagine it had to be a very large piece of ice, Khanek, something akin to the one that you saw when you were falling with the ship the other day.
Yeah, the one that fucking launched itself in.
Yeah, like the shed-sized icicle. But yeah, these flight crew have glowing hands as they move up the seam of this balloon. And Captain Klaus, he flies back onto the helm of the ship as soon as he as soon as he rounds over the snowbank with you all. And some of the passengers aboard the deck, you can hear some of them, they're reacting to the fact that the captain has returned. And
how are these people not dead? Like 99% of them.
well, you note as well, as you approach, on the other side of the ship, like the ship was blocking your view of this before, there is a row of the deceased just laid across on the permafrost. And so you don't remember how many were dead. You never, took inventory last time you were here. But it does look like more than you imagined. The people who were wounded in the crash probably didn't survive the night. Or people kind of just had to fend for themselves and do their best to pull together. So by all accounts, it's a pretty somber scene when you get back, and it seems like they're just holding on to hope. And when the captain flies back onto the deck, you can hear some of the passengers immediately, react, and, a couple of them, stand up out of their seats, and you hear, the captain's back! Captain Klaus is back! And, some of the flight crew who are, the ones who are down at the balloon, they kind of, look up, and you see one of them, the captain's back, and the faithful few brought them! And, a couple of them fly up to the deck of the ship.
No.
And, the captain, kind of flutters down onto the helm. Yes. Hello, crew and passengers of the Skua. So sorry about my absence. Strong winds from the blizzard carried me off, it would seem. I'm glad to see at least some of you made it through the crash.
We have an amount of survivors.
This guy is significantly upright for how many people have been turned into fucking mush.
But it is not I who deserve your thanks. Rather, it should be saved for others. I was rescued thanks to the help of these faithful few here. It is they who deserve your praise. Without them, I'd never be standing here with you now. But with that said, let's fly out of here as soon as possible. Let's get that balloon up there. And he flies off, and the flight crew kind of greet him. They clap together with their wings, and then they fly down to the balloon. And there's kind of just a moment of a pause as you're all on the deck of this ship now. And there's still a handful of passengers around on the deck. There's probably 10. That's it. And from behind some of the taller legs in the crowd, let's see here. Behind some of the legs in the crowd, you see Murdoch step from behind, and in response to Captain Klaus's speech, he kind of like looks around a little bit, and he looks at them with kind of like a dumbfounded. He looks at you with a dumbfounded expression, and then he looks back at the passengers who are just seemingly silent upon your arrival, and he's like, "Well, let's not keep them waiting. Let's give them a warm welcome, shall we?" And they all kind of like give you they give you a hand, and he's like, "Ah, faithful few. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah." And he
is very hyped, bro.
He's definitely a fan. And the other,
Hey, which one of you assholes are gonna dono and sub?
and the other civvies are kind of taken with the excitement a bit, and they're like, "Woo," you know, a little bit, and you know, some laughter. Definitely some. You can see in their expressions that there's been, you know, a lot of doubt, and that the captain's return and your return has come to as a great relief to them. And you know, some of them are just laughing and giving each other hugs. And as this is happening, the flight crew would have kind of been passively in the background. They have sealed up the hole, and they have brought the balloon, kind of lifted it over the ship, and it's been inflating with air. The ship slowly lifts with the inflation of the air. And Captain Klaus flutters back down to the helm. He stands atop the balcony overlooking the main deck. "Full speed ahead towards Safeguard!" And the ship continues, raising over the snow as it falls off the hull of the ship. You all are taken through the clear skies that you have now created for yourself. And the ship slowly disappears into the skyline behind the clouds.
Back on track. Let's go.
Let's see here. Gale, airship. You note that Captain Klaus basically takes the ship, turning it away from Bedlam as quickly as he can. He gets away from the coast. And you can see, actually, as you are flying up higher with these clear skies, that it's only really clear in Bedlam where you were. Like, the blizzard rages further in the distance of Bedlam, all throughout this seemingly snowy continent. It's like at some point your vision is cut off by this torrent of weather. But Captain Klaus guides you all out away from that danger, and sails you to the Kingdom of Safeguard. It takes at some point it's smooth sailing. There's
Nice.
nothing really nothing to interrupt your journey, and you feel as though you've been going for basically like an entire day, and you even slept a night on the ship again, more
So we got a long
reluctantly.
rest?
Yes, more reluctantly
tired
maybe
from
than
sleeping
last
for
time. But just because of your last experience when you fell asleep on the ship. But you awaken, the ship is still flying, and you look off, awakening, after doing your daily routines, and you see the ship breaks through the clouds, and you start to feel the pitter-pattering of a light rain. Let's see here.
At least it's not snow.
Rolland says in character.
Just like that.
Fuck off, Rolland. Not a character in a video game.
In character. So you feel a light rainfall, and you break through these clouds. Let's see here. Boom. Boom.
A
And-
Paladin City.
There's these tall towers. You're over the city. Like you're not down on the coast like the visual is, but you're over the city, approaching this from the distance. And there's tall towers with flat tops built into these gray rocks along the coast. These towers kind of cascade from the shores in terms of their heights, from the tops to the bottom of the bluffs. And there's these indents or windows throughout these towers in kind of like a hive-like pattern. Doesn't look like there's a lot of exterior space to this city, at least from the side that you're entering on. And despite the conditions, which is very gray and light rainy, the sight is very breathtaking, as these god rays are kind of shining down through the clouds, and it creates kind of like this lighting effect that, if you've ever been outside and it's like raining while it's sunny, like that's kind of what's going on here. And throughout the clouds above, in and out of your vision, serpentining kind of in and out of the clouds themselves, you see like these flying serpents overhead of Safeguard, kind of circling the city itself,
Is that a
dipping
normal occurrence?
in and out of the clouds. Make a history check.
All right.
Rolland,
Yes, sorry,
you would
Mac, I was-
recognize.
some water.
You would recognize as you approach your home city of Safeguard that there are these serpentining Khanek, you think the city's
I don't know
under
much about
attack?
Safeguard, guys.
You think
Sorry,
the-
guys. I didn't write my hometown. We can't go there yet.
Oh shit.
That would be typical.
Yeah, sorry. We're actually going around Safeguard and got some other places to be.
It's not my fucking job.
Oh, Cannon, you want to debate a what on this?
Man, you already know my stance. A lot if you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got to say?
Go on.
Someone
Do you not see the camera? I just did double
Yeah,
I
fingers.
see.
double middle.
I didn't see
I did
that.
not.
What if you're listening? Fuck you.
Turn that into an emoji.
What,
On
you
it.
doing this?
Yeah.
So you recognize that there, I don't know if you had your headset on before, but there's like these serpentining creatures that are going in and out of the clouds over Safeguard.
Of
And
course.
you notice that Captain Klaus is, like, the moment that these things come into vision, he is immediately, like, lowering the ship as quickly as he can. And
Huh.
Okay, is this a normal thing? Because clearly I don't know, so you're gonna have to tell us, Roland.
and Rolland, you see the Coatal Guardians of Safeguard.
Okay, I was like, is the
don't-
city under
Yeah,
attack?
yeah.
or is
Roland
this,
will
like,
just say like, "Worry not, as long as we stay out of their airspace." Be it said, you will not be harmed. They are the guardians of the city.
And the airship continues to dip lower and lower as you approach, drifting down toward the shoreline. And you look off the ship as it descends, and on these bluffs, you can see hundreds of people standing in a line that's leading up these switchbacks. Basically, leading up the bluffs, there's a line of people that are kind of trailing to what look like the front gates of Safeguard. They look like commoners. You know, nothing particularly special about them. Merchants, caravans, fishermen, farmers, adventurers, perhaps. And
Paladin type
Any particular race?
many of them are wearing hoods and other
Yeah.
things to keep the rain off. But you do note a variety of blue tones peeking from beneath the hoods.
Hmm.
One
Bleeple.
of them even pulls his hood back to look up at the sky and feel the rain kind of come down on his face. And you recognize the distinct gleaming skin of the Vedalken people.
No! 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 Were they all killed? Why?
This question rings in your mind as after
What happened
a
to the
few
Vedalken genocide?
corrective
No.
sways, the ship sets down gently on the rocks on the bluffs outside
I spit on the ground.
the city of Safeguard.
We're in the sky. We're in
I
the
spit on the
off the
ground
ship.
from the sky
The ship
upon seeing
lowers
these disgusting Vedalken.
to a resting place, and one of them even looks back at you and offers you a wave. That is where we will end the session for today.
Okay. What specifically does Khanek have against the blue people?
He's racist.
Khanek doesn't.
This
Jack
has nothing to do
does.
with Khanek. Yeah, this is all Jack.
But he
He-
spit on the
he
ground
has
in character.
everything
He
to
spit
do
on the
with
ground in character.
Yeah, that's the thing. He did something in character, so.
I think Khanek does have something against the Vedalken
Yeah.
in character.
Oh, he's racist.
Because I have better. I can see the future. Fuck these losers.
Oh right, yeah.
There's kind of a clash going on between Khanek and the Vedalken.
See, these assholes are like, I see the future, so I must protect what I see. And my logic is, I see the future, I can change it because I'm better.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, nerd.
It's very true. The Vedalken do not think that the future can be changed. They think that there is one future.
Okay.
Cunts them all.
which has that been proven wrong yet?
Not technically, but I
You
will.
You feel as though it's more of an opinion. But they definitely have otherworldly knowledge of events.
I do
come.
recognize their power. I
Yeah.
do not disagree with that. Whether or not I respect them, though, that is a...
It's a whole other story.
And yeah, so it would appear that they're probably refugees. You don't know how they got here, but we'll go over that.
We don't
Next
serve
session.
your kind here, Vidalkin.
Go
Seems
back
like they
to
do.
your home. Your destroyed home.
Your home was destroyed because you were weak and pathetic. Go back to where you came.
Jesus.
To clarify
Based.
the cave, and the things that were said, basically the main points, were that this primordial behind the ice was different than other primordials in that he chose to ignore his nature, which is typically to amass, to spread violence. And it seems like primordials, because they're born of this conflict between two old gods, Salus and Luez, they were born of these two gods and their conflict with one another. And so what they believe, I guess, the primordials, is that people cannot exist without killing each other.
Based.
Whereas this primordial trapped in the ice wants to believe that it's possible. And through the faithful few keeping together is what's keeping him, like, validated. Like, it's validating his choice to lock him up, because it proves that he's right, that humanity can still live peacefully if given the chance. Basically, I don't know if those were all the things. And that Salus and Luez caused the Cataclysm with their fight.
Of course.
Yeah, that's basically it.
All right.
But you're finally here.
But now we're surrounded by blue people, so.
I guess.
So, take it.
I mean, could I just, like, now that we're here, okay, this might be sounding really stupid, but, like, the first thing Roland would want to do is, like, maybe check in with, like, his superiors and stuff and let them know.
What about your
what he's
mom?
doing.
You're not gonna see your mom when you're here?
Yes.
You're home for the weekend. You're just gonna ignore her?
Does Roland have a mommy?
No. He was actually taken in and raised by the church.
Cringe.
Does the church have a mommy?
Yeah, she's a nun.
She got big boobs.
You do know of a person in the church who raised you, kinda, like, by de facto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess my question would be is, Roland's initial instinct would be to, like, go check in with his superiors, like, lawful,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
But is there something that the party needs to do before that I'm forgetting about, or is that all right to
I don't
proceed?
think so. I think we
Okay.
just... Yeah.
Roland says, well, seeing as we're
say,
on my
say
turf
it next
now-
session.
All right.
Next session.
Are you gonna bring us back
Fuck.
so we can meet your friend? Are these your friends? Roland, are these your friends? Nice to meet you. I've heard nothing
Give it
about
a
you.
little pinch.
Why are you still running
a
this
little-
joke? I just told you I don't have parents. You
A
scumbag bitch.
little cheek pinch.
Why not? Fine, your superiors are like, Roland, are these your friends?
Yeah, I'm sure the lawful militant people and followers of Aewa are gonna sound just like that.
We're gonna sound like Will's mom when Will's mom's harassing him.
You're a real wet blanket cannon. You're no
You're
fun.
crazy.
Will's just trying to impose what
You're
he
just
feels every
mad
time
your
his
stupid
parents talk
little
to him.
joke didn't work.
You're no fun.
So back to the main map. Let's draw this line, shall we?
Please. We're here to watch history
hate
be made.
lines.
What color should the line be? Should it be blue?
Blue.
Blue sounds good to me.
Blue line, baby. Love
It's on
cops.
blue for some reason.
Will is a supporter. Will is an ally of the police force.
Oh yeah.
He loves cops.
As someone who's never been pulled over by a cop, I respect what they do.
Yeah,
And every time that they picked off Cannon, good, he deserved it.
good. Exactly. Cannon. He does
I watched
illegal
Cannon get
action.
pulled over once.
Get ticketed,
Nope.
dumbass.
I watched Harry get pulled over once.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
We all did.
Get
I
ticketed,
heard from
dumbass.
Sam and Tim.
Dude, I wish I had like that was like the most sitcom moment of all time. Driving in Eric's car, I'm sitting passenger seat. Cannon drives. You guys speed past us, and I look at Cannon across in the other car, and he's just doing this like he's like flicking us off, and then we see you guys get pulled over up the
Oh
road.
my god.
I'm just like, there's no way. Cannon's
It was
just
so
flicking us
perfect.
off as he passed us, and then they got pulled over.
Deservedly
That was
so.
That was so
Criminal
funny.
scum.
Ooh,
Absolute scumbag.
Criminal scum.
good memories.
Yeah, Sam messaged me after.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I should end the stream here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be back next week with Tragedy of War. Same
We
time,
don't
same
do
place.
things illegal and get pulled over by cops ever.
Put your
Nope.